I want to talk about the soundtrack. By far, the best thing this man did was use bagpipes.
Bagpipes for your wedding, or buying you bagpipes for your
bagpipes.
birthday.
Bagpipes just in general.
I think that's
bagpipes.
That's what's going to happen.
Bagpipes.
You're listening to a Valiant Star podcast. Enjoy.
All right, let me get into character.
Why is this still a thing?
Yo, welcome back, nerds. Be like, this is our EP.
Yes.
Because it's just me, Patty, and Eric.
Yeah.
Everyone else died, and this is now our EP. That is the title of this episode. Not really.
No, it's not. It's not even.
We're actually talking about possibly, one of the greatest movies ever made. Probably the best movie 2021.
Yeah.
It's kind of a joke, but it's it's Dune. Not really. No, not really. Honestly,
I mean, when you watch it more than two times in a month,
I have in fact watched it. It was like 8 times probably in 2 weeks, maybe 1, to be honest.
I'm gonna give you a month because it was on there for a month.
Well, I after like the 8th time, I stopped watching it.
I watched it.
I was like, I've seen it enough.
2 times, maybe 3.
Because I watched it the day. I think I watched it twice the day it came out. Then the next 3 days,
we watched it.
Then I waited another day or 2, watched it again, and then watched it another time after that. And then I don't know. Honestly, I forget. I watched it way too much. But honestly,
it was worth it.
It is. Yeah, it is. It is that good. It is. It is a masterpiece. To be honest.
Fantastic. I'd watch it again.
And now I'm going to do an obligatory spoiler warning, as you know, is with all of pretty much any review we've ever done. There are spoilers. We talk about everything. No
matter how old it is.
We don't care.
Yeah.
Do spoiler warning for 80s movies. I don't care.
Poof. Ew. Why? Why an 80s movie? Yeah, no, you're right.
Dude, like fucking spoiler warning for Titanic?
Yo, drown. We didn't say what we were spoiling.
Spoiling history? Anyways.
Yo, Germany loses.
You're such an idiot.
You said for history. How was I supposed to follow up?
Both times.
Surprisingly, the second
100%
time.
loss
rate. They
rate.
didn't learn the first time.
Yeah. They got to work on that win-loss ratio.
I would too.
Jesus.
This is funny.
Great work. Derailing it instantly. Anyways, now that the spoiler warning's over, I don't know. We can just do a plot rundown. Why not?
Do you want me to do it, or you want to do it?
Yeah, why not? I'll start.
Okay.
So, basically, right. Backstory to the plot. Dune was a book written. It was actually a series of books written by, I think, Frank Herbert. I think Frank was his first name. Something Herbert. But he wrote them back in like the 60s. And he's been like writing that he wrote, I think 6 in total. And then his son, I think he died, I'm pretty sure. And then his son continued writing a bunch more books. And it was something that had never really gotten like a movie adaptation, because like the lore behind Dune is like on par with like Star Wars, Marvel. I mean, there's like an insane amount of stuff there, except it's all in gigantic fucking books. And huge. I think it only had, did it have it? I know there was an 80s movie that was terrible.
I think there was a show,
and there was I think it was a mini series that they made
in the
that
2000s.
Was also bad. They were both bad. And then so this Dune 2021 was supposed to be like the actual, creation of the Duneverse.
Gross. Don't use
I'm
that.
I'm gonna coin that term. I definitely came up with that myself. I'm gonna use it every single time from now on. The Duneverse. With I always forget how to say his name because he's unbelievably French. The director, I think it's Denis Villeneuve or something
I'm gonna
disgusting
call
like
him
that. Because
Denis Villeneuve.
just gonna go with Denis. Because I remember I watched an interview with him, and that's unironically what it sounds like when he said his name.
He's French.
Just with like one of the thickest accents you've ever heard. Well, you know what? He gets a pass because he made this, and he made Blade Runner 2049, which I'm also a huge fan of.
No, who's in that movie? I don't remember.
Ryan Gosling, Ana de Armas, Dave Bautista was in that.
Who's the big
Harrison
bad?
Ford?
The big bad for that movie?
I don't remember. It was some robot woman, some replicant woman who was running around killing people. I forget what the actress's name was, but there was no one else of importance in that movie.
I'm just making sure.
Unlike Dune, which has a packed fucking cast.
Oh, absolutely amazing.
Absolutely. I mean, main character, the better Spider-Man, Timothée Chalamet.
We wanted Spider-Man, yep.
100%. As Paul Atreides. And then you had his father, Duke Leto Atreides, Oscar Isaac.
Great beard.
And honestly, God bless. It's so good.
Yeah.
I forget what was Rebecca Ferguson's character's name. I don't remember.
I don't know. It's his mom, Lady something.
Jessica. I think it started with a J.
Yeah,
something.
It's Jessica. Lady Jessica Atreides.
Yeah.
You got Chris Pratt as Duncan Idaho.
Shut up. No one else is gonna. Okay, so now I have to explain the joke because no one else is gonna get it. So I read
so it's funny.
An article on Dune was talking about how bad the name of the character Duncan Idaho was, which is incorrect because it's such a metal name for like a film set thousands of years in the future. But a guy named Duncan Idaho can exist, but they called it the name Duncan Idaho was fitting for a Chris Pratt character in some standard action movie.
Which we learned after that he actually has a character named Duncan Idaho coming up.
Yeah. Which is the worst part. Because it was just true.
It's the best part.
Anyways. So those are, I don't know, and then so that's like on like the protagonist side. That's those four, and then there's Josh Brolin as Thanos.
Jesus Christ!
I forget what was his name. It was Gurney. Was it Haddock or Halleck?
Halleck.
Gurney Halleck. Yeah, he was like the, I guess like general of the army.
Yeah,
and then Duncan Idaho was like the weapons. He was the weapons master of the army. Those two like worked together to train the army.
That's Jason Momoa. It's not Chris Pratt.
Yeah, Jason Momoa. Anyways, who else was there? That was
you got Stellan Skarsgård as.
Well, yeah, I was going on Voldemort. Like the Atreides side.
Oh,
like the protagonist versus. I don't think there's anyone else really. Of no. I mean, Zendaya is in the movie.
For like
it's the last 20 minutes ish, but we do see her in like dreams and visions of Paul's. It's actually how the movie opens. Kind of fuck with that. The vision things were cool. I don't think there was anyone else really that mattered. I guess the doctor, because he was important because he was the one who betrayed House Atreides for House Harkonnen, who had you had Stellan Skarsgård as
the Baron.
Yeah, the Baron. Mm-hmm. It was so weird to see Stellan Skarsgård not only in a fat suit, but being like lifted like 10, 15 feet off the fucking ground and just floating all over the place.
That was the best part. Don't know what you're talking about.
It was creepy as shit. Yeah. It was so weird. And then you had Dave Bautista, who was the nephew of the Baron. I forget his name. God damn it, because his character was fucking cool. I liked the Harkonnens a lot. They were fucking metal looking.
They were, but they're like all pale.
Because they're like pale as shit, and they all like literally
scary.
white skin.
Yeah, scary.
And they wear like all black clothes. And then there's David Desmalchian is also in this, though he's like an advisor to the
I would say more of
Baron.
like a right hand man. Yeah, like
he was like the Baron's only real advisor that he had. And I guess other characters that were of note was the leader of the Bene Gesserit, which is like this order of witches that have existed for like thousands of years, trying to create this Messiah character,
and fulfill
which is
a
weird because
prophecy.
this Dune really feels like it's like Star Wars but biblical.
Yeah, and that's
And
really
I love
weird.
it. It's so cool how they like combine sci-fi and religion. It's so weird. It doesn't feel like it should work, but it just does. Because I don't know if you like notice, but in one of the scenes on the Harkonnen planet, before like they send their armies off back to Arrakis,
I know what you're talking about.
there's this. They were like marking all the soldiers going in there with like a cross on their forehead, but like because of the and they show like the liquid that they mark them with is the blood of like prisoners of war who have been crucified upside down and have been drained of their blood. And they use that blood as the cross marking on all of the soldiers' forehead before they go into battle. And that to me is so fucking metal. I love that. It is so cool looking because they don't even like mention it. It's just, there's just one shot of these dudes like basically naked hanging upside down on these like stone slabs, and you just see like their blood draining, and it's just glossed over.
No explanation whatsoever.
No explanation.
Just sitting there, just okay.
Just this happening while you've got like this throat singing going on, which was another thing that was fucking incredible.
I felt like I was watching or I was playing Halo.
Oh my god, it was so good. I fucking love that. So the movie starts. So there's there are a ton of like vision scenes throughout the entire movie that Paul's having, because I think he's like, because his mom had like worked to unlock this power that the Bene Gesserit have called the Voice, which is where they like speak in a really fucking weird way, and they just mind control people. You just tell them what to do, and they do it. It's incredible, crazy shit that you've ever seen. And he has like all these visions of Arrakis, which is the desert planet where the Harkonnen were in charge, whereas he lives on what was the name of their planet? I don't remember. It started with a C. I don't remember.
Is it Caladan?
I think. I can't remember. It was something like Caravan, or maybe. I think you're right.
Yeah, it is Caladan.
Yeah, Caladan. And they start on Caladan, which is like the home world of House Atreides. And he has like these visions of Arrakis, of this girl we later, you find out is Zendaya's character. And she like explains to him like what the Harkonnen were doing on Arrakis, like basically brutalizing the Fremen, which are the people who live on Arrakis. They're like the natives. And then we go about a bunch of like exposition nonsense until the emperor of this, I mean, it's what the universe, the known universe.
Emperor Palpatine. Yep.
Yeah, basically Emperor Palpatine takes away Arrakis from the Harkonnen and gives it to House Atreides because they're the more powerful house. I guess people see House Atreides as more powerful than the Emperor, because the Emperor is, I think he has a house. I forget the name of it. I don't think they mention it, but I think he does have one. But people consider House Atreides more powerful than the Emperor's house. So he gives them Arrakis basically to piss off the Harkonnen, to make the Harkonnen go after Atreides. So that way they fight each other, and then Atreides is no longer as powerful, which is just a mega mind political move by this guy. Kind of fuck with it. I think the first thing that I really, really, really love is when Paul's mother takes him to meet with the head of the Bene Gesserit, and he has to pass that test with her, where he like sticks his hand in the box, and it's just like he experiences like a ramping pain, and he has to like be able to control his emotions, or else he just fucking dies just instantly, which is incredible.
We learn about the planet. He has this whole like, what's it called?
Paul. So they go to Arrakis. I always want to call it Dune. I don't know why.
Because it's sand everywhere.
Yeah. You know what? I blame the Baron, because it's like the first scene where like we see him like rise the fuck up, like just get really like start flying for some reason, and he just says my Arrakis, my Dune. I feel like that's why. I just want to call it Dune. I'm just gonna call it Dune. Fuck it.
It's the movie. It's the movie.
No, it's the planet. And they go to Dune. God, I didn't even mean to do that one. You go to Arrakis. They like explore around. They meet with the Fremen, start to like kind of form an alliance. And all this time, the Fremen, they like, the first time they see Paul, they like shout out, we saw on Al Gaib, which to them means it's like their word for Messiah, because the Bene Gesserit had already been on Arrakis for like hundreds of years, like planting superstition amongst like the population to make them believe that when they see Paul, he's their Messiah, he's the one who's going to free them and like eventually free the whole universe. Like the end game is to kill the Emperor, and like for him to be the one ruling. And so they go there, do the thing. They realize, oh, the Harkonnen have like absolutely sabotaged all of our equipment. So basically, we're fucked. I think the next scene that was pretty cool was when, it was Paul, Duke Leto, I forget whoever else was there, and then she was called the Keeper of the Change. It's basically like the person in charge of overseeing the transition of the planet from House Harkonnen to House Atreides. They all go to like look out at the spice fields, and this one like mining vessel, I forget what it was called. Sandcrawler is gonna get eaten by one of the fucking sandworms, which are the coolest goddamn things ever. Oh my god, it's so massive. I love them.
They look really good.
They looked great.
Yeah.
And they have to go down to like with their they weren't called helicopters, but they were like kind of helicopter looking.
Yeah, it
was something, they just called them thopters. So I'm assuming it's something similar to helicopter. I'll just call them helicopters.
Fireflies. It was weird.
Yeah, they looked like bugs.
Mm-hmm.
They go down with their not helicopters to like rescue the crew, because the Sandcrawler couldn't be, or was going to be evacuated, but then the thing to evacuate it like broke, so they had to be manually lifted. And they go down into the spice field, and Paul like inhales the spice as the sandworm is coming at them to kill them. he has like another one of his visions and just fucking hallucinates out in the open. And then they barely fucking escape. And then after that, I think after that is when the scene we talked about earlier, where they like the crucifixion is happening, and then the Harkonnen soldiers go to Arrakis to take it, or basically eliminate House Atreides. And House Atreides is betrayed by like the family doctor. He like knocks everyone out, turns off the security. I don't know how a doctor does all of this, and nobody seems to notice because security is like non-existent. I mean, how does this guy one-man army his way through all these people? We'll never know. And then House Atreides gets absolutely annihilated because they were all sleeping. And then actually, I'll get back to that later because I want to talk about the track that plays over like the fighting bit, because I fucking love that one. Paul and his mother are like going to be left in the desert to die by some Harkonnen soldiers. They use the voice to kill them, and they kind of survive. They get found by Jason Momoa's character. They escape. They find Fremen, and at the very end, they like running from a sandworm right before they find the Fremen, and it like literally gets right up in front of them, just comes out of the fucking desert and just looks down on them. And holy shit, these things are fucking beautiful. I love them. God bless whoever designed the sandworms, because holy shit, they're so cool.
Yeah, they're detailed.
Yeah, they're like really well detailed. Like honestly, I was kind of surprised at how detailed they were, because they honestly, like, they looked real.
Yeah, like terrific budget spent.
Incredible. And then they meet the Fremen, and then this
Finally.
was weird because, yeah, I think there's like 30 minutes left, and then they meet them. But it was weird because Paul has to fight one of the Fremen that he had been seeing in his visions as like an ally, because his visions throughout the movie like kept getting more and more. And I think the last one that we saw was him like realizing, it was like when he saw everything, that he was destined to be the Messiah. He was going to have to lead the Fremen to overthrow the Harkonnen, and then eventually, I think he literally called it a holy war, where he would have to like burn through the entire galaxy to eventually like take over and kill the Emperor. And one of the Fremen that he has to fight to the death, is one that he had seen in his vision as an ally.
Yeah, like literally one of his mentors.
Yeah.
They had conversation wise.
Yeah. But then he kills him because because the Fremen guy, I think his name was Jamis. Jamis. It was Jamis or Jameer. I don't remember.
Jamis.
One of those. Jamis.
It's Jamis.
Like challenged him to a fight to the death. And so he was like confused as shit, because he was like, wait a minute, all of these things in my vision have been coming true. And yet here's a guy who I thought was going to be my mentor now trying to kill me. And then Paul kills him. And then the rest of the Fremen and like the leader there take him to their whatever they were called, their underground city. And the last thing that we see is one of the Fremen fucking riding a sandworm with like hooks in the back. And it is I want to do that. I want sandworms to be real so I can ride on them, because it looks so fun. I would love to do that.
So if you couldn't tell, Patty really enjoyed the movie.
I love the movie. It's a great movie.
It is a great movie. If you haven't seen it, definitely on the watch list.
Yeah, Not now, because you have to rent it for like $25 fucking dollars.
Yeah, just wait like till January. It'll be back on HBO.
It'll
Max.
be on HBO Max.
And on DVD most likely.
Probably. But who uses those anyway?
I do. Fuck off.
That's kind of cringe.
Okay, nah. I can't say I do. I have a bunch though.
Exactly. Anyways.
You know what I use them for. You know what I'm here for.
Yeah.
Okay, so like, what'd you like the most about it though? Like the movie, the way it looked, the soundtrack, the casting, the
casting was
story.
Good. I think it's hard to like the story because this movie was very intentionally set up to be the first in a like a saga or a trilogy. Probably, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a trilogy, but I mean, you could make this into like a full 6-series saga because this movie is like it's 2.5 hours of like backstory and build up, and it's like still a phenomenal film.
I think new characters and everything.
Yeah. Like introducing characters, killing them off, which is also awesome. Fantastic. I fucking love that. Because when I like first heard what was like reading about Dune when it was announced, it was like everyone said it's Star Wars, but it does not give a shit about your feelings, and it doesn't at all. They kill off whoever the fuck they want. I mean, they killed off Oscar Isaac
in like the first 30 minutes.
Yeah, like within the first, he's like one of the first people to be killed off. It's hilarious that they did that. Like they do not care, and then they kill off Jason Momoa's character.
Which
actually before that, they kill off Josh Brolin.
I think he was the first one to go because technically Oscar Isaac was still alive.
Oh, yeah, he was paralyzed, not murdered. Really, yeah, he technically killed himself because of the poison.
Yeah.
So yeah, Josh Brolin was technically the first one to die.
Thanos was the first person to die.
Was the first
in
one
this
to
series.
Die.
After 10 years in Marvel, he died, and in this one, he was the first one to die.
The first one, Jesus incredible. Christ. And then Oscar Isaac dies. I think his scene was when he died was really cool because we didn't get to see Josh Brolin die. Like we see him, it's like all of the like House Atreides like ships and their like defenses are being destroyed.
Everything on
fire. And it's like Josh Brolin just like running out with all the soldiers just like towards the Harkonnen soldiers as everything around them is burning. And then we only see later it's literally just a pile of bodies, I think, on fire.
So we're just assuming he died 100%?
I'm pretty sure he does die. Like I'm pretty sure it's like he does. I don't think we don't get to see it, but he's dead. Yeah. And then was it later? Jason Momoa dies because it wasn't Harkonnen soldiers that killed Jason Momoa. They're called the Sardaukar, and they're like
Emperor.
They're like the Emperor's private army. And they also went to Arrakis with the Harkonnen. Yeah, which was like what sent the message of like the Emperor has sanctioned your elimination, basically.
Your demise. He's picking a side, and it was House Harkonnen, which has less influence, I guess, than what Atreides.
Yeah, they had. Or I think it wasn't that Harkonnen had less. It was more Atreides they had too much influence.
Well, I think they had the hope side more than Harkonnen, which was fear.
Yeah, Harkonnen was like Harkonnen ruled by fear, whereas like Atreides ruled by, I don't want to say like hope, but like I guess like democracy.
Well, because when he met with the Fremen leader, you can tell the difference.
It was like the fair side versus the we don't give a shit about human rights side.
Yeah.
You know? And I think also they were because they said, the Atreides had one of the smallest armies in the galaxy, but they also had by far the best. Like it wasn't even close. Like they shit on everyone. I think the only people who the Atreides army couldn't keep up with was the Sardaukar, which is why they were sent also, because they were the only people who could kill Atreides, and it was like sending a message by the Emperor, which was cool. And so so it was the Sardaukar kill Jason Momoa's character.
Oh my god! And what was it? The
absolute fucking badass.
The armor
Duncan,
that they
Idaho.
have. I don't even think we talked about that.
I mean, yeah, all the drip on display was phenomenal.
Gross.
All around. I loved all of it.
And it's crazy though, because the explanations for everything was so simple, yet it made felt, you know what I mean? Yeah, it felt right.
I think one of the best examples of that is why they, regular foot soldiers used swords. Not one, and yet the ships and guns still existed. Because like they had like defensive like turrets, ships had guns. There were like missiles and torpedoes, but every single foot soldier used a sword because of the existence of shields. Because in Dune, everyone has, you can literally like, it's like a wristband that you can wear and you just tap it and you'll have like this like blue, like looking vibration effect go around you and you can block projectiles. But the like one line explanation is that I think it's the slow blade is the only thing that can pierce the shield because like if you stab someone, like the combat looks so weird because they're like slicing slowly to penetrate the shield, but it just makes perfect fucking sense because if they were like bashing at people, they wouldn't do anything.
Yeah. And it's very tactical.
It's so cool looking. It's so incredible. Because we see with when Duke Leto is like walking around after like discovering, all the defenses being turned off, the doctor shoots him with a dart in the back to like paralyze him. And you see it like very, very slowly going through the shield. And like he can't find it on his back, but if he did, he had all the time in the world to just grab the thing and pull it right out. And it wouldn't have done anything. We see the same thing. There's another scene when Duncan, Idaho is like escaping the city. I think one of the Sardaukar tries to shoot him with a gun. And he just absorbs the shield, just absorbs it, and he's able to get his sword underneath it and just push it away. And it's like literally just one line and like two scenes give you all the explanation you need for why nobody is like using a gun. And they don't even have to like say anything. They literally say one line and you understand it completely. It's incredible.
Great explanations without trying too hard.
Mm-hmm. I love it.
Okay, what are we going to next?
I don't even know. Where were we?
I don't know. We diverged off. Jesus Christ.
I mean, well, I did like the overview first. That was just like holistically.
Yeah.
We can do, I guess the little things. I don't really care. I think, if there's one thing that like I wish this movie had done more was spend a little bit more time like giving backstory to House Atreides' homeworld, because we like I think the first like 30 odd minutes are spent on Caladan, but we only really see like a few like wide
outside shots,
outdoor shots, and they don't really like talk about it that much. We don't really know that much about Caladan, which is kind of unfortunate, but I get it because
it's not called Caladan, it's called Dune.
It's called Dune because my Dune, my Arrakis. I think that's like the one thing that I have, but I feel like if I read the books, I feel like I would get that probably.
Yeah, more explanation to it.
But I just have to read the book. But I'm probably not going to read the books.
Not going to read the books, dude. I can tell you right now.
I'll wait for the movies. Honestly, that's probably the only issue that I have.
That is the biggest issue you had.
Yeah, it's probably the biggest one, to be honest. Because they do a really great job on Arrakis in another way that makes perfect sense, because we learn a lot about Arrakis through scenes with Paul, where he's learning about Arrakis, because he obviously knows nothing about this planet, but he's going to have to, go there, live there, help his father with like political stuff there. So he has to understand Arrakis. So he's like basically listening to audiobooks, and that's how we learn about Arrakis, instead of it just being explained to us in like shitty exposition dialogue.
Mm-hmm. It's researching.
It's like, clearly, it's like we see the character doing the research and we get to see it too. So now we understand it.
Yep. And he learns about the Fremen.
The Fremen.
Spice.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I still don't understand spice. I'm not going to lie to you.
Well, the other thing is, spice is basically, it's a drug.
Mm.
And it's a drug that lets certain people, when they take it, explore the known universe. Or not explore, more navigate it. I don't really understand the how of it. I would assume it's something similar to the way that Paul reacts to spice, with those kind of visions that he gets.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I would assume it's something similar. It like triggers something in certain people, because it's a person. Because like we see them when at the beginning, when I forget the guy's title, but he goes to Caladan for like the formal ceremony of House Atreides getting the land of Arrakis. I think it's the people. There's a bunch of people that follow him out of the ship, and some of them are, I forget their name, but they're basically just like navigators, and the spice is what allows them to navigate, which is why spice is so important, because without spice there is no space travel.
Right. Okay.
Which is why Arrakis is so important, because it's the only planet that has it. Nowhere else has it.
That's hella confusing.
Yeah.
It's not confusing, just like the way it works. You know what I mean? They'll probably go into it a little bit more.
Yeah. I feel like that is... I'm going to assume that was like a conscious decision that they made to not explain every single thing, because then we would be getting the really boring like exposition dialogue of like having every little thing explained to us, instead of doing it in like the right way, with like having Paul's research on Arrakis be our explanation for how things work on Arrakis. Because he would know how spice works, right? Like people in universe understand it. We're the ones who don't understand it. So it would be pointless for it to be explained in universe.
Yes,
which is something I appreciate. Because I don't need every little thing explained to me. You know? I'm good.
Absolutely.
I can fuck with
it. Well, yeah. No, I don't know. Because I like that they don't explain everything, because it leaves you to question whatever. But, it's just that you think about it too much stuff. And what is it? Makes their eyes turn blue, like their whole eye, not just the color part. I think that was really cool too.
Yeah, I love that effect. I want to know if that was practical or not.
Oh, 100%. It looks too like.
I mean, the visual effects, like the sandworm were really high quality. So I don't know. I wonder. I hope it was practical, because if it was, then those are some beautiful fucking, like, probably just contact lenses. They're great looking.
I mean, eventually though, he's definitely going to get those blue eyes.
Well, he does. Like we know because in one of the visions, when it's like all of the Fremen soldiers like literally coming out of the sand, and he comes out with them. When like the mask that he has on like lifts up and we see his face, his eyes are blue.
Yeah. I see it. No, are there? I mean, but
Yeah.
the what did we talk about? The future stuff that happens in here, like all his visions are of the future, but that's not how it happens. It's just what a variation of what could happen.
I think it's showing him what can happen, not what will happen. Because like as we saw with Jamis, in his visions, he saw him as a mentor and an ally, but then in reality,
right off the rip, this man,
he was, you know, he was problematic, wanted to fight, was an enemy, and tried to kill him. So, you know, the visions are, and I do like that. I don't, because like some of them like did come true. Because like he saw Chani, Zendaya's character, in like every single vision as like somewhat of a friend and an ally, and that one came true.
Yeah.
And the Jamis one was like the exact opposite. So I like how they do have like his visions are variations of the future that can happen, and reality also is varying. I fuck with that.
Like this spice activates whatever because he's, and they all looked at him like he was familiar too. That's the crazy part. Like they would say it. I remember when he first met, who was it? What's his name? Stilgar?
Oh yeah, Stilgar.
When he first met him, he like
says,
and his
I recognize you.
He said, I recognize you.
And so, I like how like you can also like subtly, well not so subtly, they kind of point that like he is the Messiah, because before him, his father and Gurney Halleck go out to see the spice fields, they had to put on the still suits, which are just like body suits that turn sweat into reusable water so you can drink it while you're out in the desert. And he put his on like perfectly.
Yeah, like the straps and all the like it was complicated machinery.
Yeah, and the woman who was the overseer of the change, I think was her title. She was a Fremen, and so she knew how to put on a still suit, and she had to help Duke Leto and Gurney Halleck put theirs on, and then she went to him and she was like, "You done this shit before? Because this is perfect." He was like, "No, I had no idea what I was doing. It just seemed right because you know he's just the Messiah." And I forget which she says something. She says some like line of prophecy, because that had been like the Fremen's whole lives was waiting for this Messiah to come rescue them. And she like recites one of the lines of the prophecy, because she's like, wait a minute, is this motherfucker him? And that I like that a lot. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's a bunch of little things that got included in here to hint at the fact of where we're gonna go.
Yeah.
And where the story is.
Setting us up. I mean,
figuring itself out, yeah.
It's a 2.5 hour movie, and it is mostly
not
just
wasted.
Background and setup, and they spent every single second of it almost perfectly.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. You know what? Now I want to talk about the soundtrack, because this is obviously a very, very futuristic soundtrack. Now, this was done by Hans Zimmer.
Oof.
So
lovely,
obviously man. It's incredible.
Lovely, man.
But phenomenal fucking soundtrack. But I have to say, by far, the best thing this man did was use fucking bagpipes. Oh my god, I love the bagpipes in this movie. It's like 2 scenes, and it's fucking incredible. They are so goddamn good. It's like the first time they use it is when they land on Arrakis, and they're like getting off of their ship, and the first person to walk off is not the Duke, not Paul, it's not anyone else. It is a goddamn bagpipe player and holy shit, are they incredible!
He
I
talked about this
love that.
bagpipe for like
I
2
can't
weeks.
shut the fuck up about the bagpipes. They're so good. They're so good. But I don't think those ones are not on the soundtrack, and that pisses me off because they're not there. However, there's another bit of bagpipes in the scene from when I don't know when the song starts in the movie, but it's when like Gurney Halleck and like the betrayal has like happened, all their defenses are down, the alarms are sounded, and they're going out to fight. And it's I'll never I don't think I will ever forget. This is probably my favorite scene in the whole movie is when all of the ships around them are burning. It's like literally House Atreides is falling around them, around the what is left of the army. And Gurney Halleck just turns around while he's like facing the Sardaukar army, looks at the rest of his shoulder, just raises his sword above his head, shouts like "on me" or something, and these unbelievable bagpipes play as like the two armies just fucking sprint at each other, and then the scene fades out in a fucking fireball explosion. And it's incredible. I love every second of it. I'm never gonna shut the fuck up about these bagpipes.
That was like the ongoing, what's it called? Thing that he loved about this movie.
Probably the greatest part is the bagpipes. Just the bagpipes alone.
If he could, he just had it running throughout the background of the whole movie.
I would. I would. I mean, I am quite the sucker for bagpipes.
Why?
It is. I mean, they're a very, I guess, like Irish, Scottish thing, and that is very much so where I am from. So I fuck with bagpipes.
Bagpipes for your wedding, or buying you bagpipes for your
bagpipes,
birthday.
bagpipes just in general.
I think that's what's gonna. That's what's gonna happen.
Bagpipes.
We're gonna buy Patty bagpipes.
More bagpipes,
so he can learn bagpipes, and then just do his own fixation on bagpipes. Hang him up.
Bagpipes.
Hang him up behind him on his wall. Glass encasing.
I fucking would.
I know you would.
Incredible.
Jeez.
Get the bagpipe that they used for this movie.
Yo. I'll think about it. I'll think about it.
We'll see.
No, but casting wise too, they did. No one outshined. I don't know. That doesn't sound right. Stood out more than Paul. His mother is close to second because that's like.
I think, but she was probably the second most important.
Oh yeah.
She was the woman in the Bene Gesserit. So she was probably more his mentor than his father was, to be honest.
Yeah, their whole thing they had going on was weird. You explained it to me a little bit, but that whole just everybody mixed with everybody to create.
Oh yeah, so like the Bene Gesserit's goal was they wanted to basically think of like, again, this is like biblical Star Wars. So imagine that there was a group of women who were basically witches who conspired for thousands of years, crossbreeding like royalty to create Jesus. That is what the Bene Gesserit is, basically, in the most simplest terms.
And Paul was supposed to be a girl, but we don't know what happened.
So that's not it. So the Bene Gesserit are only women. Now, men aren't supposed to learn the ways of the Bene Gesserit. That doesn't mean that they can't be the Messiah. However, the reason why that they have such an issue with Paul is because his mother basically tried to force him into becoming the Messiah by teaching him the ways of the Bene Gesserit, and more specifically what they call the voice, which is how they like mind control people. Yeah. That was what she wasn't supposed to do, because I think they wanted her to have. They want to keep having girls so that way they can keep like, I guess, furthering the bloodline within the Bene Gesserit. I don't know why it's that way, but that's just I get that. That's probably the best explanation
I
because
don't know.
they
It was real weird how they didn't want anything going on. Like you were loyal to them no matter what, you know?
yeah, it's like royalty to, or not royalty, loyalty
Loyalty.
to the Bene Gesserit first and foremost. Everyone else comes second, even like your own son. Because I mean, the very obvious one. Because it was his mother who brought him to the what was it called? Grandmother, I think was what they called her, the grandmother of the Bene
Reverend
Gesserit,
Mother.
Reverend Mother of the Bene Gesserit, to do, I forget the name of the test,
Oh,
like where he had to
I don't
stick
know.
his hand in the box.
Yeah, and then he
And
had
she had the needle at his neck, and he had to suffer to like control his emotions. And she's like, it like cuts to like him like screaming in pain, and it cuts to his mother standing outside the door like crying and praying because she knows that like her son could literally just be killed right then and there. And there's nothing she can do about it because she has loyalty to the Bene Gesserit first, to her son second. But yeah, that part is, I feel like a lot of, or some things are going to be explained more in the next movies. Bene Gesserit is 100% going to be one of them because they were not touched on all that much. Like they were always mentioned, but never like explained.
I mean,
in
so
any
was the
really
Emperor
way.
too. Like we don't even know who it is at this point.
Yeah,
Which it gets you
probably hasn't.
excited.
I feel like we're not going to see the Emperor until third movie, at least.
You think he's going to learn in the second one about everything, and then in the third?
Think he's going to. I think the second one is going to be him basically taking charge of the Fremen, leading the Fremen, beating the Harkonnen, and towards the end of the second movie, he's going to learn more. Well, we will learn more about the Emperor because he probably knows, right?
Yeah,
that would make sense.
100%. He's in pockets.
So we will learn about the Emperor at the end of the second movie, and the third movie is him versus the Emperor.
Yeah,
that's if they do 3 movies. They could do more. I don't know. I don't
well,
think
I mean,
they would
it's not
do
gonna
more than
end
3.
there. I don't think it's going
they-
to end there.
No, definitely not. I hope not. I'd be depressed, but they could do more. Though I don't think they would. Considering this first one was 2.5 hours, I'd be surprised if they did. Like this main or like opening bit is more than 3 movies. But God, I can't wait. What is it? 2023, right?
3. I think it was 3. Yeah.
It's like it's around the same time 2 years later. I know that much. I think it's October 2023.
I think it's going to free up. Spoilers again. Depending on how this next Spider-Man movie goes, she's definitely going to be free to do stuff. Zendaya. She's going to be part of this even more because she said she wasn't in here a lot before, and I was like, I don't know. They feature her a lot.
But I think that was one thing that it was kind of weird that they only had her for 20 minutes, but I kind of liked it because they set her up to be such an important character.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, with, how beautifully this movie set up everything else, I have full faith that it'll be just as good the next time around.
The pacing, dude. It was great pacing.
Like, I know that, Villeneuve is a really good director, but like this is by far his best work. It's not close. This is by far the best thing he's ever done.
What has he done? Hold on. Let me see what else he's done.
Well, he did Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah, he did Arrival, which I heard good things from Arrival. I've never seen it though.
It's a great movie. It is a really good movie.
Excuse me. Sicario. See, I couldn't get into it. Apparently he's directing a Dune show about the Bene Gesserit. That's nuts.
Oh wait, he's doing the Cleopatra movie.
I didn't know that.
That must have been it just says announced.
It doesn't look like the same one because there's no cast.
Okay, then maybe it's different. I don't
it
know.
might be a different one, but
who's to say? I just accidentally closed my fucking tab. God damn it.
Wow. Nice. He has Prisoners. It's a good movie. He hasn't done a lot.
But yeah, I think his first like really big one was I think it's Incendies,
Prisoners.
which is I believe yeah, it's a French movie.
Mm.
Yeah, something like that. And then
Yeah,
I think his first like English one, I think it's his first big one.
it was Prisoners. I remember that.
Prisoner?
Yeah, with Hugh Jackman and his daughter gets like kidnapped or something.
I do not remember this movie.
And
Interesting.
I know the dude in there that does the kidnappings. Apparently, he's gonna play the Riddler. That's how I figured that out, and I was like, "Oh shit, the Psycho."
Interesting.
Yeah,
The Prisoners, and then he did Arrival.
I haven't seen that, but I've heard so much good things. I should watch it.
It's really good.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay,
it's really fucking good.
I'll never watch.
I forget who it's someone in Jeremy Renner. I forget who. Oh my god!
Amy Adams?
Yeah, Amy Adams. Amy Adams and Jeremy Renner.
Forrest Whitaker. I like a good.
Honestly, really, the only two that matter that much are it's Amy Adams and Jeremy Renner.
Yeah, but we don't talk about Jeremy Renner. Remember what happens when we talk about Jeremy Renner?
Anyways, I did get a lot of Blade Runner 2049 vibes from this movie, more in like the way that he shot it.
Yeah,
because Blade Runner had a lot of like very, very like almost
obscure
like
shots.
No, but like Scott-esque like landscape shots, like massive fucking landscape shots. But what Villeneuve normally would do, or at least what I noticed from this movie and Blade Runner, is they'll have these massive landscape shots and have like the tiniest little thing just like moving across. Normally it's just some kind of ship just flying across. There's like massive landscape shot with this little ship just flying across the screen. And I don't know why, but they're fucking great. Because I mean, like Scott, they're beautiful fucking landscape shots. And a lot of these were actually, this was done like partially on location.
Yeah, I remember we were talking about that, about the sets.
They went to, I forget where, I think it was Jordan in the desert there. Mm-hmm. And they used that as like this basically the set with their location for all the visual effects that they added. Mm-hmm. I think Caladan was also shot on set too, or on location. I mean, I forget where, but I'm pretty sure it was shot on location somewhere else. Probably Iceland. They do everything in Iceland.
Iceland, which is not ice, guys. In case you didn't know that.
Well, some of it's ice.
It's Greenland, and Greenland is Iceland.
The part everyone knows about in Iceland is Greenland. There's still plenty of. There's still. I mean, we saw it. Yesterday. There's ice in Iceland.
Oh yeah! Shout out to Sidemen. Okay. Not affiliated, but shout out Sidemen.
Okay. I wasn't gonna say it.
Hey, somebody had to. It's only me and you.
Dan, cut this out. Anyway.
No, they're beautiful wide shots too.
Yeah.
Of everything.
Oh, I remember what else was they also had like some insane fucking set pieces. So you remember the place where Duncan, Idaho, where he died. Remember that giant? It was like that hallway,
yeah, the corridor.
Right? And there was that giant fucking room, the massive room. Half of that was a set piece.
Yeah. I remember you telling me.
Half of that was a set piece. The other half was just CG. Visual. Was CG'd in. Right. But I mean, still, that room was fucking insanely large, and half of it was a set piece, which is incredible.
Which it means just like at some point they just stopped, probably.
Yeah, they were like, it's far too large. But I mean, it's great.
I mean, that's the best way to do it, though.
A lot of they didn't just CG everything. They did a lot of practical, which I appreciate.
You can always appreciate good practical, which is like going back to all CG stuff is like crazy. Like he could have did it, but visually it wouldn't have looked as good.
Yeah, he could have like everything on this, with how good the CG was and the VFX were. You could have done everything like that. Everything could have just been on a set with green screens, all that stuff. But they like went the extra mile to go to fucking Jordan in the desert and somewhere for Caladan, and then they added the CG, which is just, it's like that little step that a lot of people will not take that just makes it so much better. Yeah, I really do have an appreciation for that.
I gotta figure out where they shot Caladan now, since you keep talking about it.
I'm not like 100%.
It says Norway.
Yeah, Norway. That was close. So yeah, Norway, and then I'm pretty sure it was. Now I gotta look this up to make sure I'm saying the same right thing. Yeah, it was Jordan.
Yeah, no, you're right. That's why I didn't correct you. Well, they also apparently it's in Dubai.
It's quote now Abu Dhabi.
Okay, thank you.
Which, yeah, it's like closed. It's like in that area.
Yeah. I mean, beautiful.
Oh, they used the desert. So when they were out walking in the desert, they were in Abu Dhabi, and they used certain areas of Jordan. So like all the big rock things, rock
those
formations,
were Jordan.
That was Jordan. And I guess just the open desert was probably Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
And they said
you can tell the difference.
Force.
But like color, like lighting wise, you can't tell the difference. Like they made it look really good. Warner Brothers, man, flip flopping over here.
It's like sometimes they do everything right or they do everything wrong. It's incredible.
Isn't that crazy?
I mean, when you're that large, I'm not that surprised,
Yeah, well, you're just...
It makes sense.
Putting money out there at this point.
You're just throwing money out there. Yeah, hey, it could be worse. They could get everything wrong. I don't want to name names, but Marvel. I'm just saying. Not to name names, but you can get everything wrong.
We're not talking about this. We'll save this for something else.
Anyways,
is there anything else we want to talk about? I'm trying to think. This movie, man. Oh, do we want to give it a rating? We can do that too, honestly. How about that?
10.
You want to give it a 10?
I want to give it a 10.
I'm with you.
Honestly,
no, it's really enjoyable. Like really,
it's right up there with Godzilla versus Kong, obviously.
Okay.
Oh, this is the worst decision I ever made.
I'm not saying nothing. I don't want to get into it. It's our episode, okay? We can't start it off bad.
It's fine.
Nah, but yeah, it's really enjoyable. Go watch it if you haven't. Don't pay $25. No, I mean,
yeah, don't.
Or do. Wait, it's worth it. It's worth it. I would have paid for it if I had to buy it. You know me.
I mean, yeah.
And we all would have saw it. Like, you know what I mean? But beefy cast, beefy story. Yeah. Not hard to understand story.
It's, if a biblical Star Wars that does not care about how you feel about the story and the characters sounds appealing to you, then this is a phenomenal fucking movie, because that's the best way I can describe it.
It's Game of Thrones, Star Wars, but better.
I prefer biblical Star Wars.
It didn't have a season 8, it had a season 1.
I think biblical Star Wars sounds cooler.
I don't like saying Star Wars though.
But it's biblical Star Wars.
Can we just say space biblical? Like, that's fine.
Space Bible.
I don't want to say, Space Bible. I like Space Bible a lot more than I like
Space Bible
or biblical Star Wars. I hate mentioning Star Wars.
But it's better than Star Wars.
Yeah, but
we're putting this over Star Wars.
Well, no, 100%. But what did I say? Space Bible?
You said Space Bible doesn't make fucking sense.
Space Bible. Dan, name it Space Bible.
No, it's biblical Star Wars makes more sense than Space Bible.
So if you're listening to this wherever, Preferably if you're listening to this on YouTube. No, matter of
Comment.
fact, go to our Instagram. Comment on the post on Instagram and say, what do you like more? Patty's, which is
Biblical Star Wars. I forgot for a second.
or mine, Eric's, which is what? Space Bible?
Space Bible. Biblical Star Wars or Space Bible? Make
Yeah.
that a fucking poll somewhere. I don't know, but make a poll.
We'll do it.
Biblical Star Wars or Space Bible?
Space Bible, 100%.
It makes less sense.
I don't care.
When I think of Space Bible, I think of Jesus with a lightsaber.
I ain't gonna lie, that sounds lit. Can you imagine if Jesus was like, nah, I hate it here, and then just left the planet?
No, fuck this shit.
And that's why?
Got in a fucking X-Wing and just
Bro, what?
lights sped out of there.
What?
Went to Dagobah.
And he was the first Jedi? And that's
Okay.
how that started? Hello?
That's how we started the Old Republic.
Oh my god. That'd be lovely.
God, we're going to hell for this episode.
That's fine. It's taking you with me. You both got a spot down there. We can watch a Space Bible the entire time.
Star
with
Wars. All right, we'll just fucking freestyle an outro.
Yeah, I'll do it.
All
I'll
right,
do it. Okay, go ahead.
that's it. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Thank you. Make sure to, if you're watching this on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe,
Hit that motherfucking ding bell.
beat the living shit out of that bell.
Beat it!
Follow us on Instagram and
Nerds
TikTok.
Be Like Pod. Nerds Be Like
At
Pod.
Nerds Be Like Pod.
I'm assuming.
I don't know. I was gonna say something about Spotify, but I don't think you can really do anything on Spotify. You can't really on Spotify.
Yeah, I think you can add to your, what's it called, right?
Like the podcast on Spotify. I feel like that's a thing you can do.
It is a thing you can do. I'm 100%.
If you can't, then if you're listening on Spotify, share it with a friend. That's
Share
what
it
you can do.
with
Share
a
it
friend.
with a friend.
Listen to us as a group.
Yeah, we got, we just started season 2.
Season 2.
We've got 2 episodes. This is episode 3. I think I should have done that in the intro, but I didn't. This is episode 3, by the way.
Episode 3.
Of season 2.
Of season 2.
Dan just edit that into the intro.
This is gross. Patty was running this episode.
I freeball shit,
Nah, it's fine. This is episode 3. We're finally back. I hope you like this new process we're going through. Next episode, we don't know what's gonna happen. We don't know. We're free. We are freeballing.
Yeah, everyone's freeballing the schedule. I don't know what
yeah, it's good though.
There will be an episode next week that I can promise you.
It's either Spider-Man or it's not.
It might be Spider-Man. I don't know.
It might not.
Could be something else. Could be something completely different. Entirely.
It could be us again. You could be in the PE show.
We might. No, it would be our second EP. Okay, get it right.
I'm sorry. The P show.
This is our EP, our first EP. You
don't like
and then we
P.
might have a second EP.
No, I like P better.
EP makes more sense.
I know it does, but it makes you mad.
You're
so I'd rather call it P. Or we could call it PP.
Alright, whatever. Alright, everyone. Thanks for watching.
And listening.
Goodbye.
Good night. I ain't gonna lie to you, that was fucking hilarious.